Hey golfers, welcome to the channel. My name's Luke. Today we're going to be doing the front 9 of Rushmore Golf Club in Dorset. Rushmore is where I started my golf journey about 12 months ago, and today we're going to be playing off a handicap of 16.9. The front 9 of Rushmore is definitely the hardest half of the course. So let's jump straight into it and let's see how we get on. So we're on the first tee here at Rushmore. It's a par 4, it's about 346 yards to the green. I've got a 5-iron in hand. I hit this one really heavy. It's the first swing of the day. Not too happy with that one.
Lovely.
So I've got a long way in here, probably around 200 odd yards, and I've got a free hybrid in hand. I actually make pretty good contact with this and leave it just short of the green. So I've left myself a 30-yard chip here. I've got a 54 wedge in hand. Nice easy swing. And I hit this really well. I'm really happy with that. I think this is really close. I've left myself about a 6-foot putt for a par, which from where I was, I'm over the moon about. So of all the greens at Rushmore, I've actually got a relatively straight putt here. So I'm about 6 foot out, straight putt, and I just missed this on the right side of the cup. So leave myself a nice little tap in for a bogey, which from where I was, and if anyone's played Rushmore, would know that you're really happy to walk away with anything under a double bogey on the first few holes. Hole number 2 then, so it's a par 4, dogleg left. It requires a good drive to get close to the green. I hit this one pretty well actually. I'm in the fairway, but I do leak it just a tiny little bit right, as you do want to cut off that left hand corner to put yourself closer to the green. 140 odd yards into the green here. I've got an 8-iron in hand, and I feel like I actually connect with this pretty well. But I've just missed the green. So chipping on then to try and get this close for a par putt. I've got the 54-degree wedge in hand, and I make really nice solid contact, and this is a really nice chip, and leave it a tap in. So tap in then for par, which I'd be absolutely delighted about, and I get the par. So on to hole number 3 then. We've got a par 4, it's 323 yards to the green. It's a tricky par 4 this, because it does require you to hit a fairway. It's out of bounds right, and tricky shot in if you go left. And I've hit this really well. I'm straight down the middle of the fairway. So shot number 2 here, I've left myself in the perfect position. I've got about 115 yards to the flag, and I feel like I hit a really nice wedge here, and really surprised to see it fall into the water.
Went in the water there.
So after a brilliant tee shot and a really disappointing approach shot, I've got a chip over water onto the green, which I hit heavy, and I failed to actually make it onto the green. So after missing the green with that chip shot, I want to try and get this close, because at this point I'm just thinking try and minimise the damage, because I've got this for a double bogey putt. I felt like I actually connected better with this chip, but the ball's just run out on me, and I'm really disappointed at this point. I'm beginning to lose composure. So I've left myself a really long putt here, and I need to drop this just for a double bogey. And I underhit the putt and leave it really short. And at this point, I've really lost composure. I think I'm still thinking about that approach shot and trying to work out what on earth happened, because I couldn't believe that I hit that so short. So putt here for a triple bogey, which I leave a little bit short, and I've got a tap in for a really disappointing quad bogey, which after that tee shot, I'm really disappointed about. Okay, so moving on to hole number 4 here. We've got a par 3. I'm trying to put the last hole behind me at this point. It's 140 yards over water, requires an accurate tee shot, and I've got an 8-iron in hand, which I connect with really nicely. I've got the distance pretty bang on here, but just left it a little bit left of the flag. But I'm not disappointed in that at all, especially after the last hole. I'm just off the green here. I've got a relatively long putt. You may not be able to tell from the camera angle, but it's a really steep uphill putt here. And at this point I just want to put it close and leave myself a tap in for a par. and I hit a really nice putt there, and I've got a foot tap in for a par, which I'm absolutely delighted about, and I'm really glad that I've just been able to put the last hole behind me. Right then, so on to hole number 5 here, and we've got a stroke index 3 par 4. It's 383 yards, so not the longest par 4, but you've got bunkers protecting the middle of the fairway, and then you've got out of bounds right, and it's a dog leg right hole, so it requires a really nice drive, and I connect with this well, and I'm actually straight down the middle of the fairway, which I'm over the moon about, and it leaves me a much shorter approach shot. So shot number 2 then on this par 4, I've left myself about 130 yards to the flag. You've got a really large bunker that protects the front side of the green, so you need to make sure that you're clubbing up in this. So I strike this really well, and as you might be able to see, I make it over the bunker and onto the green. So after a lovely tee shot and an even better approach shot, I've left myself about a 12-foot putt here for a birdie. You may not be able to tell from these videos, as I've mentioned, but the greens here are heavily undulated, so I've got a quite big left to right putt here. I strike this really well, and I just missed this by about an inch to the right side of the cup, so it's a good read and a really good weight, and I've left myself a nice tap in for a par, which I make, and I'm delighted. So hole number 6 here, it's 180 yards to the green, water left, bunkers right, so you need to make sure you're hitting the right club. I've got a 6-iron in hand, and I need to put a nice swing on this, which I don't manage to do, and I hit it really heavy into the water. Here, so I'm having to take a drop. So this is shot number 3 here, and all I'm thinking about is what happened on hole 3, and I'm just trying to avoid this turning into another disaster hole. So I really want to put this close, and I connect with this chip really well, and the sun was in my eyes, so I couldn't quite see how close I got it, but I felt like I got it pretty close here. So as you can see, I've not put this anywhere near as close as I initially thought. This is a really difficult green here. It's going to be a 20-foot plus right to left putt, and I really need to put this close. It's damage limitation time. So uphill putt here for a bogey, and I connect with this really well, and I just saw it going in the entire way, and I'm absolutely delighted with that, as it was a bogey that honestly felt like a birdie. Is after hole number 3's disaster, I was just absolutely delighted to walk away with that. So on to hole number 7 then. It's the first par 5 at Rushmore, and I really want to put a good swing on this, and I tried too hard to hit this, and I way overextend, and I end up hitting that on the outside of the hill, and it goes absolutely nowhere, and I'm really disappointed with that, and it's now left me a really long shot hit to the green. So I've got my free hybrid here. I connect with this really well, and all I'm happy to do is get out of that rough, to be honest with you. So after that awful drive and the hybrid shot, I've got way over 300 yards to the green, so I'm just opting to lay up here. I'm trying to hit a 6-iron to leave myself a full shot in, and I hit it really thin, and a little bit disappointed with that. So 140 yards to the green, and I've got a 9-iron in hand, and I hit this left of the green, and actually on reflection, if you look, my alignment's really out. So shot number 5 on this par 5, and again we're in damage limitation mode. I've got a difficult chip here as the green slopes quite aggressively downhill towards the flag, and I got really tentative with that one. So I've got another chip on here, and again the green slopes all the way downhill, and I just hit this really tentatively, and again I'm starting to lose composure here, a bit like on hole 3, and I've now left myself a really long putt here. So wanting to try and put this in for a double bogey, or at least leave it close. I don't want this turning out to be worse than it already is. So long putt, it's right to left, and I hit this with a good pace, just a slight misread, and I've left myself a relatively short putt for a triple bogey. Let's move on to the next hole and try and put this behind me. So hole number 8, par 4, stroke index 1. Now this is a really difficult hole because it's out of bounds all right, and the left side fairway is all out of bounds as well, so you need a really nice drive on this hole down the middle of the fairway, and it needs to be long to give you any chance of a shot in. So I've got wind behind here, driver in hand, and I'm a little bit annoyed on the last hole, and I strike this really well, and I've absolutely flown this with some of the assistance of the wind straight down the middle of the fairway, 267 yards. So after that really nice tee shot, I've left myself 130 yards to the flag over water, and I've got a 9-iron in hand, and I connect with this really well, and I get this onto the green. You may not have been able to tell by the previous clip, but this green has 3 tiers, and today the flag's on the middle tier, and I've been able to hit a really nice approach shot onto the middle tier, and I've got a 10-foot putt because otherwise I would have been above or below, which leaves you a really tricky putt. So I've got this putt on the hardest hole on the course for a birdie, and I'm feeling really good over this one. And I hit a really nice stroke, and I think this is in the whole way until, I don't know how, but that managed to lip out, and it seemed to be a perfect pace. It actually went in the hole and came back out, and as you can tell, I'm really disappointed in that one, but I felt like I got a little bit robbed there. But after the last hole to walk away with a par on this hole, I'm absolutely delighted with. So we're on to the last hole of today, and it's a par 4. The fairway slopes all the way right into out of bounds, so the miss is left, and as you can clearly see, I actually hit this drive pretty well, but I took my bail out left, and it does actually leave you a half decent approach shot in. So 149 yards into the green. I've got a really awkward lie here, so I'm just trying to think. I want to get this on the green or close, so I grip down slightly on the club as the ball's just above my feet there, and I make really nice contact on this, and I actually can't believe it, but I just missed the green, and it's just off the edge there. So I've got a long putt in here, 20 foot. It's a relatively big right to left swinging putt, so I just want to put this close, make sure nothing disaster happens, and I hit a good one here. I leave myself a 2-foot putt for a tap in, and if I could walk away with a par from here, I'd be absolutely delighted. Nice putt here, and I get the par. Okay golfers, thanks for joining into the channel. So after 9 holes, I'm 9 over par, and I shot 44. I'm really happy with some of the golf that I played today. Just a little bit disappointed with just those 2 holes, the quad bogey and the triple bogey, which I felt were really avoidable. But overall, I can't have any complaints, and I suppose that's why I'm still a high handicapper. And so for all you other high handicap golfers out there, I'd be really interested to know in the comments, what do you think it is that makes you a high handicap golfer? Which I know might sound silly, but do you, over 9-18 holes, just average higher scores? Or do you find, like myself today, that actually you play some good golf and it's just that 1, 2 or 3 holes that really let you down and turn into double, triple, quadruple bogeys, where actually in hindsight, if you would have done things slightly different, maybe you'd have got a different outcome? So if you've enjoyed the video this week, please drop us a like and press that subscribe button. But for me, that's all, and I'll catch you on the next one.